If you had to pick the single most overlooked moment in your daily routine that could determine the strength of your bones decades from now, what would you choose? Most people might say exercise or calcium supplements, or maybe just hope for good genetics. But the real answer might be sitting right on your kitchen table every morning. Imagine this. The day is just beginning. Sunlight spills through your window, and you reach for the same breakfast you've always eaten. Maybe it's a slice of toast, a quick bowl of cereal, or simply a cup of coffee on your way out the door. It's a habit so ordinary you barely give it a thought. Yet, according to some of the latest research, this simple meal could be one of the most critical factors in whether you'll enjoy strong, resilient bones or face the risk of painful fractures and a loss of independence later in life. Here's why breakfast matters far more than you think. Studies from Mayo Clinic and top nutrition experts have revealed that our bodies are primed to absorb calcium most efficiently in the morning. That means your very first meal is your golden opportunity to deposit bone-strengthening nutrients into your body's bank account, an investment that pays off for years to come. Yet, millions of adults overlook this window. They skip breakfast, rely on empty carbs, or miss out on foods rich in calcium, vitamin D, and protein. Over time, these seemingly harmless choices silently chip away at bone density, often without warning signs until one day, a minor fall leads to a major fracture. The statistics are sobering. By age 50, half of all women and a quarter of all men will experience an osteoporosis-related break. But here's the good news. You have the power to change the story, starting with what you put on your plate tomorrow morning. Whether you're a milk drinker or plant-based, whether you're 30 or 70, there are easy, delicious options that deliver the nutrients your bones crave, often more effectively than pills or evening meals. So before you pour that next cup of coffee or reach for a quick pastry, consider this. The first thing you eat today could be the difference between strong, mobile years ahead or becoming another statistic. Your bones are counting on you. Let's discover how to make breakfast your most powerful health habit yet. This breakfast could save your bones years from now. Picture this: you're in your kitchen. The sun is rising, and you're preparing your usual breakfast. Maybe toast with butter, a bowl of cereal, or just a cup of coffee. It seems like a harmless daily habit. But what if I told you that this one meal, your breakfast, could be the deciding factor in whether you develop osteoporosis later in life? According to Mayo Clinic, about 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over age 50 will experience bone fractures due to osteoporosis. That's not just a statistic. It means that a simple fall or lifting a heavy grocery bag could result in a fractured hip or spine if your bones are brittle. And those fractures, they're painful, expensive, and can seriously affect your independence. But here's the part most people miss: the right kind of breakfast can slow down this process, or even prevent it entirely. That's because your body absorbs calcium more efficiently in the morning. And if you're waiting until dinner or relying only on supplements, you may not be doing your bones any favors. Here's something even more surprising. Researchers found that shifting just 5% of your daily calcium intake to breakfast can lower your risk of heart disease by about 6%. Yes, this isn't just about bone strength. Your morning meal has ripple effects on your heart, metabolism, and long-term vitality. Now, many people here eat more calcium and think milk. But what if you're lactose intolerant? What if you're vegan? Or what if you just don't like milk? Thankfully, there are delicious and plant-based options packed with bone-protecting nutrients and they may be even more effective when eaten first thing in the morning. And here's a bonus tip. There's a humble dried fruit. Yes, a fruit. That's been shown in recent studies to actually preserve bone density in postmenopausal women. It's easy to add to your oatmeal or smoothie. And you've probably walked past it in the grocery store 100 times without knowing its secret. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore exactly what an ideal breakfast for bone health looks like, based on the latest research from Mayo Clinic nutritionists and top health experts. We'll also look at which everyday breakfast habits are quietly weakening your bones, and how you can make simple, tasty changes today. So if you care about staying strong, mobile, and independent in the years to come, especially after 50, this video could make a real difference in your life. Let's dive in. Why osteoporosis starts quietly. Osteoporosis doesn't arrive with warning signs. It's not like a heart attack that strikes suddenly or a cold that brings on sniffles and sneezes. It begins in silence, slowly, invisibly, weakening your bones year after year until one day, a simple fall results in a fracture. What's even more surprising is that most people reach their peak bone mass by their early 30s. After that, bone density starts to decline. For women, that loss accelerates after menopause. For men, the process is more gradual but still significant. But here's the kicker. The damage often starts long before the symptoms. Imagine your bones like a savings account. When you're young, you deposit plenty of calcium and nutrients into the bank. But after a certain point, you start withdrawing. And if you're not putting in enough to begin with, you'll come up short when it matters most. That's where breakfast comes in. You see, your body can only absorb a limited amount of calcium at one time, usually no more than 500 to 600 milligrams per meal. And studies show that your absorption rate is actually better earlier in the day, thanks to your natural circadian rhythm and digestive efficiency. But here's the problem. Many people skip breakfast entirely or grab something quick and empty. A bagel, a donut, a sugary coffee drink. Foods that not only lack calcium and vitamin D, but may actually contribute to calcium loss. Excess sugar, too much sodium, and caffeine in high doses can all interfere with bone health. Meanwhile, starting your day with a calcium-rich breakfast does more than protect your bones. It sets the tone for healthier choices throughout the day. Research published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that women who consumed higher amounts of calcium at breakfast had better bone density measurements than those who delayed calcium intake until later meals. Let's not forget vitamin D, either. Without it, your body can't properly absorb calcium. And yet, vitamin D deficiency is incredibly common, especially in older adults. While sunlight is one source, dietary intake becomes increasingly important as we age, and breakfast is the perfect time to build that habit. So what should you reach for? That's what we'll explore in the next section. But for now, remember, this osteoporosis doesn't start with a broken bone. It starts with a pattern, a habit, and it often begins at breakfast. The good news: you can turn that around starting tomorrow morning. The 5 best breakfast foods for building strong bones. Let's get right to it. If you want to strengthen your bones, you need to feed them the right building blocks, and breakfast is the perfect time to start. Here are 5 powerhouse foods, each backed by research and often recommended by nutritionists at Mayo Clinic and other leading health organizations. 1. Fortified yogurt or plant-based alternatives. Yogurt is a classic bone-building breakfast food, and for good reason. One serving of low-fat yogurt contains up to 415 milligrams of calcium. That's about 1/3 of your daily need if you're over 50. But if you're avoiding dairy, don't worry. Fortified almond, soy, or oat yogurts can provide similar calcium levels, along with added vitamin D. Choose unsweetened or lightly sweetened versions, and top with fruit or nuts for an added boost of fiber and antioxidants. Just make sure the label says calcium fortified, and check that it provides at least 20–30% of your daily calcium requirement per serving. 2. Calcium-fortified plant milks, or orange juice. A glass of fortified almond milk or soy milk delivers up to 300 to 400 milligrams of calcium, and some are also enriched with vitamin D and vitamin B12, both crucial for bone metabolism. And yes, orange juice can help too, as long as it's labeled calcium fortified. Just watch the sugar content, and limit yourself to 1 small glass if you're managing your blood sugar. Pro tip: use fortified milk as a base for smoothies, or pour it over a whole grain cereal with added seeds. You'll double your benefit without adding time to your routine. 3. Oats with chia seeds, or ground flax. Oatmeal on its own isn't rich in calcium, but add chia seeds, ground flaxseed, or fortified nut milk, and suddenly you've got a mineral-rich meal. Chia seeds in particular contain calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all key for bone health. Sprinkle 1 to 2 tablespoons into your oatmeal, and consider mixing in dried figs or raisins. Both are natural sources of calcium and also bring along boron, a trace mineral that helps prevent bone loss. 4. Prunes. Dried plums. Yes, prunes. These humble dried fruits are emerging as a surprising bone hero. Studies show that eating 5 to 6 prunes a day may help prevent bone density loss in postmenopausal women. How prunes contain vitamin K, boron, and a host of polyphenols that reduce inflammation and bone breakdown. Toss a few into your oatmeal, yogurt bowl, or even enjoy them as a mid-morning snack. 5. Eggs or salmon for vitamin D. You can't talk about calcium without mentioning vitamin D. One boiled egg provides about 6% of your daily D needs. And canned salmon with bones is an even richer source. Consider an open-faced breakfast sandwich with scrambled eggs and leafy greens, or mix canned salmon with avocado on whole grain toast. It's a savory way to start the day, and your bones will thank you. The silent breakfast habits that are weakening your bones. Without you realizing it, you may think you're eating healthy in the morning, but some of the most common breakfast choices can quietly sabotage your bone health over time. Let's uncover the hidden mistakes that millions of people make, especially after age 50 when bone loss starts to accelerate. 1. Skipping breakfast. Entirely. We've all done it. You're running late, not feeling hungry, or trying to cut calories, so you skip breakfast. But here's the issue when you miss breakfast. You're also missing your best opportunity to absorb calcium efficiently. Your body can only absorb so much calcium at one time, typically no more than 500 to 600 milligrams per meal. If you try to catch up later in the day, your body simply can't make up the difference. That's why skipping breakfast isn't just an energy issue. It's a bone health issue. From 2. Loading up on sugar and processed carbs. Many breakfast cereals, pastries, and flavored yogurts are loaded with added sugars and refined grains. These ingredients don't just lack nutrients, they can actually increase calcium loss through urine. In fact, high sugar intake has been linked to increased inflammation and decreased bone mineral density in multiple studies. And when you pair that sugary meal with excess sodium, say, a breakfast sandwich from a fast food place, the calcium leaching effect becomes even stronger. 3. Relying on too much caffeine. Don't worry, your morning coffee isn't banned. But 3 or more cups of coffee per day, especially without enough calcium in your diet, can slightly reduce calcium absorption. The Mayo Clinic advises moderation and balancing caffeine with bone-healthy foods. If you're starting your day with coffee and nothing else, or washing down a sugary pastry with a triple espresso, your bones are getting left behind. 4. Ignoring vitamin D and magnesium. Even if you're eating enough calcium, your body needs vitamin D to absorb it, and magnesium to activate that process. Many people assume they're covered, but deficiency is common, especially in older adults or those who avoid dairy and animal products. Eggs, salmon, fortified plant milks, and even mushrooms can all help deliver these key nutrients first thing in the morning. But if you're not including them, or taking a supplement, you might be missing out. 5. Not planning ahead. Good bone health doesn't happen by accident. If your pantry or fridge isn't stocked with bone-friendly options, it's easy to fall into the same nutrient-poor routine. Planning just 1 or 2 go-to breakfasts with calcium, vitamin D, and protein can make all the difference. So ask yourself, what's your default breakfast? Is it protecting your bones or weakening them without you even realizing? Let me introduce you to Carol, a 63-year-old retired school teacher from Arizona. Like many women her age, Carol felt healthy and active. She walked daily, ate a balanced diet, or so she thought, and had no major health issues. But during a routine bone density scan, her doctor delivered unexpected news: she was in the early stages of osteoporosis. Carol was shocked. She hadn't felt any pain. She hadn't broken any bones. But the scan didn't lie. Her hip and spine bone density were below normal. Her doctor suggested medication, but also emphasized something equally important: her diet. That's when Carol started looking more closely at her breakfast. For most of her adult life, Carol had a light breakfast, maybe a slice of toast with jam and a cup of coffee. It was fast, easy, and low in calories. But what it wasn't bone-friendly. She learned that she was missing out on calcium, vitamin D, and the kind of protein that supports collagen production, all essential for maintaining bone mass, especially post-menopause. So she made one simple change. Every morning, Carol began eating a bowl of oatmeal made with calcium-fortified almond milk. She stirred in chia seeds, ground flax, and a handful of prunes, 5 or 6 dried plums, just like the studies suggested. On the side, she added a boiled egg or half a can of salmon on whole grain toast, depending on the day. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't expensive, and it didn't take more than 10 minutes to prepare. 6 months later, she went back for a follow-up scan. Her doctor was impressed. While most women her age continued to lose bone density, Carol's had stabilized, and her vitamin D levels, which were previously borderline low, were now in the optimal range. All from food. Even better. She felt stronger, more energized, and more confident in her daily movement. I didn't realize how little I was giving my bones until I started feeding them properly, she said. Now, breakfast is my best medicine. Carol's story isn't an exception. It's a reminder that small, consistent changes, especially in the morning, can have a major impact later in life. So, if you're over 50 or you care for someone who is, ask this question. What's going into your bones, starting at breakfast? You don't need a radical diet or expensive supplements. You just need the right foods, in the right amounts, at the right time. So here we are. You've learned that osteoporosis isn't just about aging. It's about daily choices. Quiet, invisible decisions that add up over time. And breakfast. It's one of the most powerful places to start. We've seen how skipping meals, relying on sugar or caffeine, and ignoring key nutrients can slowly weaken your bones, even when everything else feels fine. But we've also seen that turning this around isn't complicated. Just like Carol, you can make small, intentional shifts that protect your bones for years to come. A bowl of fortified oatmeal, a few dried prunes, a glass of plant milk or a boiled egg. These aren't dramatic changes, but they're effective, proven, and backed by medical research. Here's your challenge tomorrow morning. Build a bone-strong breakfast. Look for at least 300 to 400 milligrams of calcium in your meal. Add in a source of vitamin D, through food or a supplement. Include protein to support the collagen that makes your bones flexible and resilient. And if you can, add in prunes, figs, or leafy greens for that extra mineral boost. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet today. Just start with one meal, one decision, one moment of intention at the beginning of your day. Because here's the truth. Your future strength, mobility, and independence depend on how you treat your bones right now. So whether you're 45, 55, or 75, it's never too early, and it's never too late. If this video helped you rethink breakfast, share it with a friend, a parent, or anyone you care about, and drop a comment below. What will your bone-boosting breakfast look like tomorrow? Let's take care of our bones and each other, one morning at a time.